Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to the second episodes of this video series where I'm gonna teach you how to build this notes application. So, today we're gonna implement two new features. One of them is so that the user can add a new note, and so that the user can read a note they've written in the past, yes. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So I'm gonna make a new group. I'm just gonna call it note. In the note group, I'm gonna make a new file. I'm gonna call it note controller. So note controller. And I'm gonna make another file named note controller extension. So let me just type out it real quick here. Cool. Now we can get into the programming part now. Okay, so whenever a user clicks a note, we want to present this the actual content of the note. We want to present the note controller containing all the content. So I'm gonna do call a function called didSelectItem at index path. So this will get called whenever the user clicks on one of the table collection view cells. So I'm gonna do let note controller be equal to note controller. Just give it an empty initializer and do present. Oh, wait. Yes, of course, we're gonna do navigation controller dot push view controller. This will just, push it from right to left, which will give it a really nice effect. And of course, we want it to be animated. Nice. So let's just see what this will do. Cool, and it's all loaded up. You can see that it's, I guess, kind of working. So let's just yes, nice. So what we'll do is we'll actually create a note will be equal to a note. And what is this note? Well, we're gonna need a new, you call it models. It's basically an object containing variables. So let's just create that right now. I'm gonna call it note. I'm gonna make a new group and call it models. And this note will be an NS object. Cool, and it's gonna contain a var title of note will be equal to a string, and do var URL of note will be equal to string as well. Cool. Now let's head over back into our notes controller. Yes, and now you see that it turned green. That basically means that it's it'll compile, so don't worry about it. Cool. Well, the note controller will contain actually, the only thing it'll contain is a content text view and a loading indicator view. So let's do content text view will be a UI text view, and it's going to be equal to text view be equal to UI text view. Nice. Return text view. Oops. So we'll do text view dot is editable will be equal to false. This just means that the user can edit the text. So we'll do text view dot background color will be equal to dot light gray. Cool. Now let's make the loading indicator view. Actually, we want it to be white at first, then we'll change it to light gray once it's finished loading. Loading indicator view will be equal to a type UI activity indicator view. Okay, let's see. Dot gray. I think that'll do. Nice. Turn indicator view. Now we want this indicator view to be animating, so we just want it to start animating. Call that function. It'll start animating, and it's all gonna look perfect. Now we want to constrain these views, so I'll do func setup views. Cool. We'll do view.f. So if you're not familiar with how constraints work, you can go check out my blog. I've got a blog post written about programmatic constraints, and yes, so that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and check out our new node controller. Well, we forgot to do something. From setup view, we'll just do view.background color will be equal to dot white. Nice. Cool, let's click on a note. And we have forgot to call everything. Setup view, setup views. Nice. Now it should work perfectly. This little note object, we'll get into that later. We don't need to worry about what it does at the moment. It does nothing at the moment, but what it's going to be used for. We're not going to get into that in this tutorial, but I don't know, I just added it there. So let's click on a note. As you can see, it's loading, and that looks pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So, yes. That's it. Let's get into the new node controller, since we are finished with the node controller. So let's do new group, new node. Cool. So let's make a new file. I like having these extension files to keep all my functions and just to keep my code a little cleaner. Like it, nice. Let's do UIKit as well. Class new node controller. Just type UI view controller. And since we haven't built the projects, the file is not in sync, so the auto-completion will have a bit of a hard time. So the new node controller will contain a title label, a title field, where the user is gonna type the title of the node. Cool. So we'll do text field dot placeholder will be equal to enter title of node here. Nice. And you know what? We'll do text field dot delegate will be equal to self, because what we're gonna do a lot of checking whether there is text in it or not, and when it's gonna be when the user types, we need to check, oh, is there text in the actual text view, and see, oh, is the user, can this user submit now, blah blah blah. So let's just conform new node controller to UI text field delegate. There we go, and we need to change it from let to lazy var since we need to access self in it. So that's pretty cool. So let's now do let content text view. If type UI text view is going to be equal to text. Now do text view dot delegate will be equal to self. Do text view dot background color will be equal to a UI color dot gray dot with alpha component not point to. This is just what I found to look, I guess, best. I'm not a designer, but, and again, lazy var just so we can access self. And do UI text view view delegate. Cool. Now let's build and run this, and let's do, of course, we need to do the func setup views to, it's just where we're going to constrain all the views. Okay, cool, now we've got them constrained. Let's call setup views. Cool. Now we also need to make a quick function, func setup view. Let's do view dot background color will be equal to dot white. Cool. Now we actually need to add a add button on the top of our notes. So let's just do that real quick. So head over into view controller and we'll do the setup nav bar. We'll do something like let right, sorry, add bar button item be equal to a UI bar button item, and do something like this. Let's just initialize it with a the bar button style dot add. Target will be self and the action will be selector. Selector. Let's call it add new node pressed. And let's just do objective func. No, you know what? File private objective func. Nice. So let's do let new node controller will be equal to a new node controller. We'll do navigation control. If I can type today, I'm having a little problem. The push view controller, new node controller, animated true. Oh wait, I need Objective C instead of, or before file private maybe. I don't know. There we go. Should work. Now let's go ahead and run it. No wait, we need to do navigation item dot right bar button item will be equal to add bar button item. Let's now go ahead and run it and see what we get. And in our new node controller, we actually need to do func setup nav bar. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh, we got the add button. Click it, and you see we've got the new node controller. So we need to set up navbar in the new node controller, and we'll do something like title will be equal to new node, and do something like let right bar button. Oh wait, we can just call it submit bar button item be equal to a UI bar button item. This time we'll initialize it with a title of submit. This will be dot plain, and the target will be self. Selector will be submit note. It will be Objective C file private func submit note. Cool. Now we're not going to do anything for now. We're just going to do navigation controller navigation item dot add right bar button item will be equal to submit bar button item. So if we run it now, oops, oh, it will not work if we run it now because I forgot to call the function. Let's run it now and see what we get. Oops. let's see. For some reason, it just didn't want to load in the iOS 10, 11, 12, sorry, iPhone 10 simulator. So for some reason, it worked on the iPhone 8, so that's what we're going to be using from now on. But if we click the Add button, you'll see that we've now got a Submit button, and we can enter a title and the body of the note. And now we just need to set up so that the Submit button will only be enabled when both of the input views are not equal to nil. So let me just add to nice. Okay, cool. Now in our new note controller, we need to do text view did change, and in here we want to do if text view dot text dot count is not equal to 0, and what did we call title field dot text dot count does not equal 0. Then we want our navigation item dot right dot is enabled to be equal to true. Else we want our navigation item dot right item dot is enabled to be equal to false. Actually, for some reason, we need to set it not equal to 1, because, well, in programming, sometimes they count from 1 to up, sometimes they count from 0 to up or something, so I bet that's the reason, but you don't know. So we need to do text should change characters in should change, and we need to change the text field. So if content text view dot text dot count dot count does not equal 0, and our text field dot text dot count does not equal 1. Well, then we want our navigation item dot right button item dot is enabled to be equal to true, else we want it to be equal to false, and do false. Cool. Now let's go ahead and check and see if it works. Oh. The function's expecting a boolean return, so we're just going to return true. Yes, that's what we're going to do. So let's click on add, and so by default our button, our submit that is enabled should be equal to false at the at standard. It should be equal to false because, well, we're not going to expect any text to be in our input fields just yet. So let's do add. As you can see, it's not enabled, and we'll type some text in the text field, and it's still not enabled, and we'll type a character in the text view, and it is enabled. We'll delete it. As you can see, it working. So let's go ahead and delete it in our text field. Boom. As you can see, it's working perfectly. So this is where I'm going to leave it off for this tutorial. I'm going to see you in the next one where we're going to implement the actual database and storage functionality, which will enable the user to upload their notes to the cloud. And yes, that's going to be the final touch for the app. And yes, it's been great, and have a nice day.